Hello everyone. Previously we had discussed about the immutable JS and the functional state management. So today we'll be discussing about the index database API for the persistent storage or the IndexDB API, right? So what does IndexDB do? Basically it is a low level API for storing large amounts of structured data. Again I'm telling, IndexDB or the index database is a low-level API for storing large amounts of structured data, including files and blobs, right? It's ideal for the offline applications needing persistent storage. So how it is useful? Basically, it is ideal for the offline applications using or needing. It's ideal for the offline applications needing persistent storage. So let's try to understand the same with the example. First example will be, let's try to understand by creating and using the indexed database. Second example, let's go with retrieving all the records from the indexed DB, right? So let's try to implement the same using, let's try to create and use the indexed DB. Quickly, I'll come here. Let me create index.html file, and also let me create JS file. So I'll just quickly come here in the HTML file. I'll just include JS file by making use of src or script tag, right? So quickly I'll just come here to index.js. So here let me make use of the variable name db request, and let me give here indexdb dot open. So I'll just name this one test db or the test database, 1. So this is one thing. Next, what I'll do, I'll just make use of db request dot on upgrade needed. So we haven't included anything in the index db, right? So here we'll be making use of the on upgrade needed. This one, on upgrade needed. Let's pass the event here. So next, I'll just make use of the variable name db, and I'll give event dot target dot result. So let me type result completely. So here we have to create the object, right? For creating the object, we have to make use of the create object store. So here let me give create object store of let me call store here. Let's make use of the flower basis, and within this we have to give the key path, nothing but the key. So key path, I'll just set the key path to id within the strings. So I hope this is clear. So this is it. Next step, what we will do, on success, the previous thing, on success, this one, previous thing, whatever this we have written, if this is success, then what we will do, we will give the id and the name. Let's go step by step. First, initially what I'll do, db request, let's make use of on success. Let's pass the event here. So let me set the db to event target dot result. So next, I'll just make use of one more variable named transaction. So I'll set this one db dot transaction to store within the string, and also we need to have one more parameter that I'll give read write. We are making use of the operations read write, so I'll set this one to read write. So I hope this is clear. Next, let me make use of one more variable named store. Let me call transaction. We need the object store, right? So here let me give object store. Within the strings, I'll just pass the store here. So let's add the record now. So we have to add the ID and name. In my case, I'm just adding ID and name. ID key path we have already set to ID. So we need to have ID at any cost. And another parameter, you can go for anything. In my case, I'll just set the name. So I'll just give here store.add of ID. I'll just give ID 1. This is simple example, right? Name, I'll set this one to Bharadwaj. So I hope this is clear. Let's try to get the record. So what we are doing here, basically, yeah, let's try it on success. Let's try to get the record and print that one, right? So here, let me give store.get of 1. Let me make use of on success. Let's pass the event, this one, E. Let's log something like, what shall I log? Event dot target dot result. So let me format this once. So I'll quickly explain what I have done here. Index.db.open. So here, this one, first line, what this does here is, what we are doing here is, this basically opens a database, creating it if it doesn't exist. So if the database doesn't exist, so this opens a database, creating it if the database doesn't exist. So here inside this one, we have just given the parameter test database and 1. Right. So db.create object store of store, this one, create object store of store, key path whatever we have given here, this one, what this does is, it defines a new object store. This, again I'm telling, this defines a new object store. And store.add and store.get, what these things are doing, store.add, this one, this adds data to the store, while store.get, this one, we are making use of store.get to retrieve the data from the store. This one, again I'm telling, so sorry, what did I do here? Store.add, this one basically adds the data to the store. This one, store.get of 1, this one, this is used to retrieve the data from the store. So let me come to index.html here. Let me quickly click on open with live server. So I'll just come here. Let me press F12. So here we are not getting any output, right? So what's wrong here? I have done something wrong. Let's see what wrong. What is the wrong thing that I have made? So what mistake I have done here is, in the line number 4, this one, here key path, this P has to be capital basically, not the small. So this is one mistake that I have done. If I try to now, if I give, I'll just come to index.html and pick on open with live server. So I'll just give this one. Still we are not getting the output, right? So again here, just give me a second. Did I do anything wrong here? So basically what we are doing here is, we are creating and using the index DB, right? We are not retrieving any record here. So we have just added the record and we are just creating and using the index DB. Sorry, we don't get any output here. Let's try to retrieve the data in the next step. Sorry, I got confused basically. So I'll just quickly explain what I've done here. Indexdb.open here, this one, what this does here is, it opens a database, creating it if it doesn't exist. And db.create object of store, create object of store, this one, this basically defines a new object name. And by making use of store.add and store.get, you already know this one, store.add, this adds the data to the store, and here store.get, this retrieves the data from the store. Next step, let's see how to retrieve all the records. So I'll just quickly comment this one. So I'll just come here. What I'll do, I'll just give here, let db request equals indexdb.open. So within this, I'll just give here test database as well as one. Let me call one here. So db request dot on success. So this one, let's pass the event here. So here within this, what I'll do again, I'll just call here let db equals event dot target dot results. So I should have copied this from the previous example. That's fine. Next, let me set the let transaction. I'll just make use of this one itself basically. So I'll just copy this one here. Let me paste the same thing here. Transaction, I'm just making use of the transaction, this one variable, and I'm setting this one to the, by making use of db.transaction, we are giving store and read write within the this one. So I just change this one from read write to read only this time, because we are just retrieving all the records from the indexdb, right? That is the reason I'm just changing this one to read only. So here I'll just come, let me make use of the store and let me give here transaction got object store of, within the strings I'll just give here store, and finally it will be like request equals store dot get all. Get all is a function. So request dot on success, this one what I'll do, I'll quickly come here, let's log, we have to log the result, right? I'll just give here in my case request dot result. So I hope this is completely clear. Let me format the document once here. So let me come here, let's try to I'll just give open with live server. Let me quickly press this one F12. What we are getting here, uncaught type error, failed to execute transaction on ADB database. The provided value read only is not a valid enum value of type database transaction model. Let's see what is wrong here. So what mistake I have done here is, here in the line number 17, let transaction, this one here within the transaction we are giving store and read only parameter, right? So parameters, right? So this one has to be small o, not the big O basically. Now if I try to this one, we have already opened this one, right? So let me open the Chrome. Yeah, now if I come to browser console, so here you can clearly see, so the data ID 1 we are getting and the name Alice we are getting, and it is also showing that it is we can also see the prototype, this one array, and other properties as well, right? And this is prototype basically. We just have to concentrate on this ID and the name Alice that we have added here. Let me come here to code. In the previous example, here we saw first what we saw creating and using the indexed DB, right? So here we added this one by making use of the store.add. We have added the ID 1 and the name Alice here. So in the second example, we are trying to retrieve all the records from the index database, right? So here on success, we are just logging the request.result here basically. So the output that we need to get is ID 1 and the name Alice. That's what we are getting here, right? If I come here, the ID 1 and the name Alice. So this works absolutely correct. So we saw how to make use of the IndexedDB API for the persistent storage. So I hope this concept is completely clear. So basically what here we are doing is store.getAll. This one is there, right? This is this retrieves all the records from the object store. I hope this topic is completely clear. Next, we will discuss on the fetch API and error handling mechanism. So for now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.